It's Thursday, April 6, 2023. Welcome to your Day Weather Podcast, brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Check out their brand new website at cowboystatedaily.com. Also being brought to you by WYDOT. Check the latest road conditions before heading on out. Warming trend, there are two words put together that I think are music to many ears. The patterns are finally changing. Does it mean we're done with snowstorms? Probably not. But we have the biggest break in the weather we've had in weeks. So this is going to be a welcome trend of warmer temperatures. Those warmer temperatures will be held back at first in the deep snow-covered areas. Now, this is going to lead to some significant snow melt. You're going to need to watch your street gutters in those big snow areas of central Wyoming, far northwest Nebraska, parts of the Dakotas. With these warmer temperatures coming, there's going to be a lot of melting snow, so a lot of water. Also, we're going to see some melting take place in the lower snowpack areas of the mountains. As you get into the higher mountain areas that we have around 7,000 or 8,000 feet where there's still a lot of snow that really hasn't come out yet, well, some of that's going to start coming out as we will have 60s, 70s, even some 80s in the region by early next week with temperatures. Took a look yesterday as skies cleared out of the snow cover across the region. You can see the very impressive snow cover across Wyoming, through the Dakotas, northwestern areas of Nebraska, then back into the mountains of the Intermountain West. You can also see the areas where we didn't see much snow out of the weekend storm, up into these areas here, then out here onto the plains. This is from the Eastern GOES satellite. This is from the Western GOES satellite. This shows you the deep snow still in the mountains of the west, and that snow will be there for still quite a bit longer. If you can see on your screen here, it's greening up. There's some green there in California. So things are greening up, although a late start to it for sure. But this snow cover here for April 6th, pretty darn impressive. Speaking of impressive snow, the Wasatch Front was another area that just got walloped by this last storm. This heavy snow that went into Utah, got into southwestern Wyoming, then into central and east central Wyoming, and points northeastward from there. A lot of folks will remember this storm for sure, as well as the winter season. In fact, the top snowpack on record, since snowpack records have been kept, has occurred. The snow water equivalent, adding up all of the snowpack areas in Utah, 29 inches. That not only just broke the record since records have been kept, but going back to 1983. And there's been a lot of folks remarking this reminds them of the 82, 83 and the 83, 84 winters. And that's something to talk about, because if we want to try to get an analog to where this winter has been, it's really looking like the 2-year period of 82 to 84. There were back-to-back really big winters in the West. And this past winter is showing a lot of similarities. And you can see that the three other records were in those 82, 83, and 84 seasons. Now, season-to-date snow totals from around the region, Casper on top at 131.3 inches. Now, that's not a record, because the record for the biggest snow in Casper did happen, I believe, in the 83, 84 seasons when it was over 143. But the snow season may not be over just yet, so we're not saying that these are the final totals, but this is where we are at in the region, snowfall to date. Now, if your city or your location is not listed here, it's not because I'm leaving people out, but there aren't as many weather reporting stations that accurately measure snow than you think. Usually they're in the bigger areas, the bigger cities, to where the careful measurement of snow is taking place. A lot of times at weather service offices. So you can see these are mostly where weather service offices are across the region. And you can see a wide variety of different snow totals, and you can see you get along in south of Interstate 70, Colorado Springs under 30 inches for the year. Not a very snowy season in some areas, big snowy areas elsewhere. Look at Alta, look at Snowbird. Jackson Hole going to be reaching the 600 club this year with winter snowfall totals. Now, I also took a look at what the snow water equivalent is in all the snowpack areas of Colorado and Wyoming. I don't know where these snow water equivalents stand in terms of records, but Colorado, very impressive. This is basically adding up every snowpack area where there's a SnowTel sensor and taking the snow water equivalent as of yesterday and averaging them all together. So this is an average of a whole bunch of different mountain locations at a whole bunch of different elevations. So you've got some places in Colorado where the snowpack is at 52 to 53 inches of water. You've got other snowpack areas where it's 11 or 12 inches of water. But if you add them all together, put the average together, these are very, very high snow water equivalents going into the early parts of April. Now, let's get to the forecast period. There's not as much to talk about. That's why I had to fluff it up there at the beginning with some other information. High pressure starting to build on in, the upper level low going into the upper Great Lakes and moving out. This is by Saturday morning. This little low will streak across the Pacific Northwest, bringing rain and snow there and across Montana's northern areas and western areas and up into southern Canada. This is going to make it a little bit breezy here. So we're going to have a little bit of wind coming on in this weekend, but it's a bit of a Chinook wind. So it's going to get warmer, a little bit breezy this weekend, but the main part of this low is going north. Then there's the big push of high pressure and much warmer air getting pushed into the region as we head into the time frame of early next week. And this is when it's going to really warm up. It really warms up Easter Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. We still have, though, low pressure here in the Gulf of Alaska. So we're still in a breeding ground stage of storms up there, but at least we're getting a little bit of a break. And here are the temperature anomalies by Monday. Look at how it warms up in Montana, Alberta, up into southern Canada, then along the east slopes of the Rockies, even down into Arizona. It may actually feel like Arizona with some warmer temperatures coming as well. So relief is in sight from the cold. And here is the precipitation forecast through Monday morning. That low will get wet weather into Northern California and the Pacific Northwest, but you can see throughout the region here just a little bit of shower activity. And there might be some light showers, but that's it. But there isn't a big swath of pink on the map this time for several days. That's your snowfall forecast. Looks pretty wimpy, doesn't it, compared to where we've been. Then by late next week, well, we've got a bowling ball rolling into California and Nevada. We'll just have to see where this system goes. I think there could be a couple of options. It may actually track north like this. It could cut off and track like this. We'll just wait to see. But later next week is when rain and snow chances will return. So that means today, Friday, the weekend, and into a good part of the early parts of next week, we'll be able to enjoy some warmer spring-like weather and not have to worry about a major storm, at least during that time frame. We'll see what happens with this storm late next week and towards next weekend. Have yourself a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow.